Present.
Ms. Ryan Carter.
Present.
Mr. Winfrey.
Present.
Ms. Conway.
Present.
Please. Ms. Worthing.
Present.
Thank you.
Are there any requests for changes and or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, there's a resolution, collective bargaining agreement. Mr. Garrett.
Make a motion that we send 190025, the collective bargaining agreement with the City of Flint Police Officers and Labor Council Sergeant Unit to council.
Mr. Davis.
Madam Chair, I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Mr.
I was writing that agreement, and I noticed, and this is just minor, I guess, but I noticed it stopped at 12, then it started again at Article 6, and it just wasn't, if you look through it and you start reading the articles, it'll go from 1 to, I think, well, I said 12, but I think it's 1 to 11, 12, yep. And then, after that, it picks up at 6. And even though, I guess my question is, was that intentional? And if it was, what was the reason? I think everything is here, but if there's something that we should know why it's chopped up like that.
You know what, the pages are off. It is
Right.
at page 6,
Right.
it jumps to page 18.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying is if there was a reason that we, okay, all right. I told you it was small, okay.
Seven's back here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
seven's in
yeah.
there.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if it was something.
Yeah. I wish Mr. Newsom were here, but I see Mr. Ranch is here. This is a raise for the sergeants of the police department, and I know that there's a council person here that doesn't support the Flint Police Department. We all know they work really hard, and they deserve everything we can possibly do for them. But one question I had raised, Ms. Branch, can you answer this? How much, because we'll be going into budget period pretty soon, how much per year does this increase the police department budget, and where is that money coming from?
I'll give you a financial.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
I got some. Who's here that's familiar with this contract from the administration? Is it you, Steve? Is it Attorney Kirchner? Anybody in here who would be able to communicate if this is before us on the details of this contract? Anybody at all?
I'm not familiar with this, and I can take any questions back if there are.
Okay, now, when stuff come like this, you should have somebody here. And it should be somebody here in case there are some questions about this collective bargaining agreement. What about the law? The resolution talks about a change from Emergency Manager Darnell Early ordered to impose terms and conditions. Who can answer which terms and conditions is being unimposed? That's what we're doing here. We voting on something to unimpose some conditions and terms that an emergency manager put in place. I'll support it, but I like to, for the record, know the details of what's going on and what the changes are. That's just me. Now, if I missed that information because I was unlawfully put out of a council meeting, that's another thing. I'll be voting to move this to council. Maybe between now and council, some of those questions can be answered. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of sending this to council say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose, any abstentions? Move to council. No appointments, ordinances, discussion items, additional council.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Fields, and then Councilman Mayor.
I ain't in no race.
I would like to make a referral to Finance Purchasing Department. I would like to know who is going to be on the bid review panel for the new RFP for project management of lead line replacements. And I don't know if they've appointed that panel yet. But I would like that control. I would like to know who's going to be on that bid review panel.
Mr. Mays?
Yeah, through you to Mr. Branch, City Administrator, City Attorney, Kirchner, who's present, and to the administration and this council. I'll be making a motion tonight to enact an emergency ordinance dealing with purchasing as it relates to this pipe replacement program that I think has been shut off and hindered by this city council based upon its vote. And I don't care what this council do or don't do. Mr. Davis, I would ask for your support when I move the motion out on the floor, because I've seen council persons dancing all around this emergency ordinance opportunity. I've seen people fighting with the administration, Mr. Branch, in the middle of an emergency. I will not be a part of it. This council can enact ordinances that give y'all purchasing leeway. Purchasing leeway. See, the media, Miss Mercedes Kenny, they like to controversy. But we got an administration that's been doing a fine job under these emergency circumstances, and I'm fixing to show those naysayers on this council what we should be doing in our legislative branch in the middle of an emergency. Rather than stopping pipe replacement, we should be full steam ahead. And Mr. Branch, you and your administration should have the leeway along with Rob Benson. See, when you read the ordinance, a lot of it was crossed out by emergency manager law. I'm going to ask that it be put back on the legislative agenda. I'm going to ask that a special meeting even be called, Mr. Davis, and it takes 2 or more. Mr. Branch, let the mayor and her administration know she can call one too. I could care, Ms. Kirchner, if any of them showed up. But nitpicking about how you pay people with emergency money, I'm finna show how you do it. And these purchasing ordinances and to the accountability board. See, they like to call you ethics, I call you accountability. That's what I'm gonna do to keep folks accountable. We fixing to move purchasing agreements in the middle of emergencies. So that'll happen. Finally, I would say this. I'm embarrassed and appalled to sit in front of this body. Once I left, I reviewed council meetings like a football player review tapes. It's people, Brady and them gonna be looking at the Super Bowl, Barbara Biggs. I look at council meetings like I did yesterday, like football tapes. They're everywhere, Mr. Woodson. I've seen a council vote 6-1 to remove me from a chairmanship after I had been unlawfully removed and they were saying I wasn't chair. It just don't make sense to me. Why vote? I heard you, Mr. Winfrey. You said I didn't deserve a chairmanship because I don't bring people together. Let me say this on the record. I've worked in campaigns with Woodrow Stanley, Don Williamson, Mayor Weaver, and even in some of the council races at this seat. This council person sitting at this table now, I've brought many people together. I brought them together, my daddy brought them together. That's why Shallow Commons sit where it sit now. So you can be Mr. President Winfrey, but when it comes to Councilman Mays and the Mays name, you won't tell no lie after I leave about being divisive. What I want you to tell this great city of Flint is that you got people on this council right sitting up under your nose making personal attacks on individuals and institutions. It started from an illegal email before this council, some of them were sworn in. Most racist, obtuse, narcissist, misogynist, even Miss Worthing, as you try to hold your smile, it was side conferences, press conferences. It was so important to make these unlawful personal attacks based upon our rules. Y'all, you and Ms. Fields had a press conference to do it. I sat there and listened to every word. So that's what I see. I see that as divisive.
Point of information. Where in here is about the emergency manager and the ordinance?
We're on this.
I can explain that, Mr. Griggs. Mr. Griggs, in the last few weeks, Ms. Fields has made it a point to pass out purchasing ordinance. And she highlighted certain things in yellow that she wants you to look at. But she left unhighlighted things such as emergency ordinances and other tidbits and roles that Rob Benzick, purchasing, and the finance director can play in modifying and changing things, canceling it all together. And this council been on a ride. But see, Mr. Griggs, when you give me time to look at films and tapes and read, it all makes sense. Tonight, Mr. Griggs, if you want to look at this one, unless the staff get you one, this is the purchasing ordinance I'm referring to. And it's been amended and changed under the emergency manager law. This ordinance gives the city administrator, who used to be Natasha Henderson, authority that they wanted her to have. Took it from the mayor. This is the purchasing ordinance as Ms. Fields been waving around. And Mr. Griggs, I can guarantee you, it could be emergency ordinances that could allow us to stay the course, full steam ahead. You're gonna love it, Mr. Finance Director. So there you have it. But Mr. Griggs, that's to your point of information, but I was through with that. I'm dealing with folks lying. In fact, it was said, and then I'm gonna wrap up, I appreciate your indulgence. It was said publicly on the record, the only time we can do business. Mr. Kirchner, I can guarantee you, this council in the city of Flint, 3 council people, Fields, Winfrey, Kincaid. 3 of them. Litigation pending. You got 3 this time. Mays, Galloway, Winfrey, at least 3. Making decisions, meeting. Violation of the Open Meetings Act. Do the business here. Make appointments and removals here in an open meeting. And then if they challenged, we deal with it. What I experienced here was embarrassing. What I seen on the tape was humiliating. Like, you telling the truth? We didn't meet. You used the word meeting of the minds. Yeah, keep rolling this finance chair. That was my mind met. Be nice to them. What you saying? Let them call you names. That ain't my style. That's your style. That's your politics. I ain't got to be nice to folks. That ain't divisive. What's divisive, Mr. Winfrey, is when they call you names. Me, the mayor, that's divisive. What unity is when we kept rolling, getting 5 votes in spite of it. That's been destroyed. So it's the glass half empty or half full. We've been bringing people together in Flint for years. I don't appreciate you misleading this council about our private conversation. But what I do am very disappointed in is the way this council operated. And I'm approved how disappointed I am. I am in it, because it will be in litigation. We're going to get these rules straight. They mean something. This is my final thing, and I said that a minute ago, but this is it. In order to suspend the rules of a 1-year term, you must first get a 2/3 vote to suspend the rules before you go back in them rules. And Ms. Fields, I heard her on the tape, our rules deal with removals. You ain't gonna find nothing about removal in there. The only way you can remove is suspend the rules and go back in there and reappoint. So without a motion to suspend the rules, you're 6-1 vote, and I appreciate your 1 vote. But I should have been in the middle of the conversation arguing that I want to continue my investigative hearings. I got subpoenas out there with Snyder. I got subpoenas out there with Rich Baird, the MDEQ, we in emergency, and here my work was snatched from under me before I could even audit, and then they vote after I'm taken out of debate in the middle of an appeal. Don't move on the women. The police officer ain't moved yet. Ain't approached him, ain't said nothing. But when it come to the brother, he approach every time. And I will continue to talk differently to the women on this council, since I'm alleged of doing it, as long as they act the way they act. I don't talk to all women the way I talk to y'all, because all more women don't walk up and call me Megan, what's that Megan's lady name? Who, her daddy died, he was a senator. Megan McCain. Megan McCain said, and I recorded it on CNN, when somebody call you a racist, that's one of the worst things they can do. That's what she said. So if I'm to listen to Megan McCain, those who sit at this table and said I'm the most racist, Megan McCain said that's the worst tool you can pull out the box. Thank you for your indulgence. Y'all looking at the glass one way, I'm looking at it another, and I can assure you, when I finish, from the calls I done got from people looking, I think I've been and made my point. I'll tell you just like I told you leaving out the door. God bless you. And God bless more so the citizens of the city of Flint.
Is there any further discussion? So we're at adjournment. Mr. Guerra,
Make a motion that we adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn. Is it moved and seconded? All in favor of adjourning this meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Those that oppose,
Nay.
those that abstain. This meeting is adjourned. 5:30.